Hey everyone, welcome back for our brand new video about that show that taught us how not to survive the apocalypse, The Walking Dead. Warning, beyond this point there are spoilers for people who are not up to date in AMC's Walking Dead television universe as well as the comic books. In this video, we're going to give you our Rampage rankings of every major Walking Dead group from the Commonwealth to the Campsite crew. We're considering any group that started with more than a dozen people that was actually featured in the show's timeline and not in a flashback like Alpha's original group or the weirdos that traumatized Terminus. We're going to rank these communities based on a lot of factors, like their strengths and weaknesses, their moral code, the impact they had on the greater universe, and many others. Who is the top community? Let's get right into our rankings. The first and lowest ranked group on our list is the one we know the very least about, Virgil's community. Given the fact that this elusive survivor rarely told the whole truth and we barely have any screen time with them, it's hard to rank these people, but the fact that they had an island community and they survived so long into the apocalypse speaks to their resilience. Will we ever see this group again? Or Virgil? The second entry we have here started off pretty big at the apocalypse but had dwindled to just a few members by the time Rick and company fight their way into the prison. The prisoners had no real walker killing skills, but they had a great location and supplies. Although they didn't last long at all, the fact that two of these guys made it into Rick's group tells us they belong here in our list. Number 3 is another short-lived group, the Vipers. These guys were featured in the Here's Negan episode. Their major claim to fame is inspiring Negan to become a monster before he became a man again. This biker gang seemed pretty tough until Negan pulled out a barbed wire bat and shit got real. Fourth are the Claimers. This group of killers lasted a few episodes until they had a proper introduction with Rick and the gang. The fact that Daryl was a member of this group definitely boosted their street credit, but at the end of the day, their claimed philosophy didn't get them very far in the apocalypse. Number 5 is the OG Campsite crew from the beginning of the show. We know that Rick's group went on to do great things, but the initial community that was created by the handful of families all those years ago was not the safest place to live, and the people in it were basically toddlers in the apocalypse. The fact that anybody survived is a credit to Rick and Shane. The sixth group we want to talk about is the one the Campsite community dissolved into, Herschel's Farm. In Season 2's heyday, this was the place to be. The group had a sense of security through the remoteness of the farm. They had a diverse skill set amongst everyone, and they had enough medical capabilities to pull off a serious surgery. Although it didn't last too long, Herschel's Farm was still a great group.
You can go if you want.
You're gonna take them all on.
We have guns, we have cars.
Kill as many as we can. Then we use the cars to lead the rest of them off the farm.
Lucky number 7 on our list is the Wolves. This community was sadistic, deranged, and bloodthirsty, but you have to give them some points for their creative use of walkers so early in the game. Carol ripped through about half of these people single-handedly, but they did prove themselves to be a somewhat formidable group. The 8th group is the Living. You may not remember the name of this group, but you probably remember the iconic shootout in the bar back in Season 2B. After saving one of the members this group left behind, Daryl got a fair amount of info about their community. The group ran at least 30 deep and were seemingly into some brutal acts. According to Randall anyway. Whatever happens to this community remains a mystery, but they definitely get a spot on the list.
You're gonna like it with us. Gets a little crazy sometimes, but it's a tough bunch of guys. You'll fit in good.
These number 9 guys were only featured in Season 1, but the Vatos definitely were a strong team early in the apocalypse. They had a fortified base and enough weapons to protect themselves while they looked out for the elderly people who needed protection. A Season 2 deleted scene let us know that this community was destroyed, but it would always be great to see that at least 1 or 2 of these dudes survived down the road in a spin-off. Rounding out the first 10 on our list is the Highwaymen. These guys showed up late in the game, but one Ezekiel speech turned them into friendlies. Although they were short-lived, the sacrifice they made during the Whisperer's first major attack was enough to take the 10th spot. The 11th pick is the Scavengers Society. Jadis created this group and gave them their own sort of language and rituals to win their trust. Although the group was cult-like and they were wiped out in pretty much one fell swoop by the Saviors, they did manage to last some time and had some pretty creative tips for repurposing walkers. That combined with Jadis' ties to the CRM puts this group near the middle of the pack. Number 12 on the list is Terminus. Those people started off decent, but after a run-in with some psychos, they became total cannibals. They operated a large society with enough weapons and people to protect it. Their dark secret puts a stain on them, but they did manage to create a group that lasted for some time. Their one major downfall? Fucking with Rick Grimes. Unlucky number 13 is the Wardens, who start the top half of our list. This is Maggie's group that she returned with back in late Season 10 and early Season 11. Although their community fell, they still made it 10 years into the apocalypse and deserve to be recognized. The main reason that the governor's militia is at the 14th spot is because they have a tank. A fucking tank. This group was short-lived, but they did manage to ruin the prison for everyone, ever. These people had all the makings for a strong society, but the governor's need for vengeance proved to be too strong. At least the survivors got Tara out of the deal. R.I.P. Herschel. 15 on the list are probably the best fighters out of anyone, the Reapers. These people were all ex-military with top-tier killing skills. They knew how to hunt, kill, and prey. The one thing they couldn't do? Play nice. That puts them in Maggie's crosshairs, and nobody gets away from that. Well, almost nobody. Sweet 16 is that community whose fate is an utter mystery, Oceanside. Although this group has helped the survivors in multiple conflicts, they do seem to have a problem protecting themselves, which also created some world-class trust issues. All in all, the Oceanfront Society has made a big difference in the world. They just need a much better line of defense. Number 17 are the Saviors. This is one of the larger groups on the list, and they were armed to the teeth. This group is one of the reasons everyone ran out of bullets in the apocalypse. Well done. Although they had a ruthless outlook towards any other group in the world, their methods were still effective for their community. Well, at least for Negan. Negan's lessons pushed too many of his people towards his enemies, but his real downfall was thinking he could trust Eugene. One big brain move almost single-handedly destroyed this group of people, which is the only reason they aren't higher on the list. The 18th slot is reserved for Woodbury. This community seemed like a piece of the old world. They had working electricity, sporting events, food, medicine, the works. The one thing they didn't have was a non-deranged leader who wasn't obsessed with zombie heads. This is also the first community we see making scientific efforts towards the walkers. Sadly, the governor ruined this little slice of utopia, but Woodbury still ranks kind of high on our list. Next up at 19 is the Hilltop. This community's main strength is its location, which allows the survivors to defend it with little risk to themselves. Through the years, the Hilltop has been a mainstay for some of our favorite survivors, and the only weaknesses plaguing this community were its original leader and then lack of a consistent boss after Gregory, Maggie, Jesus, and Tara, and, well, you get it. Number 20 is the Commonwealth. This community was huge. They had lotteries, parties, fake haunted houses, and real haunted houses. They had an army, pro wrestling, basically paradise. The reason why they aren't number 1? They also had fucking concentration camps and used kids as collateral. Bad karma eventually comes back to bite you, as their leadership painfully realized later. Starting off the last 5 on our list is Georgie's group. This society was never seen, but given the fact that she gave Maggie a blueprint to survive the apocalypse and Maggie actually left to go be a part of her community, Georgie definitely had something special going on. It's unknown exactly where Georgie ended up, but we like to believe she's part of a bigger community out there thriving better than we've ever seen. Or she just died. Either way, she made enough of an impression to rank pretty high on our list. Number 22 is the only group on this list that can brag about having a tiger, the Kingdom. The society that Ezekiel made was always somewhat strong, but after meeting Carol, the king stepped it up and helped Rick win all-out war. The downfalls of this society was the Whisperers and Ezekiel losing his way after losing his son. The Kingdom was still one of the strongest communities out there, although their fares leave something to be desired. At 23 is one of the scariest communities, period, the Whisperers. When Eugene and Rosita first encountered this group, they thought Walker Evolution was happening, but that was 2 seasons too early. The Whisperers' tactics and their fearless leaders made them a very powerful community even if they were savage. Their lack of needs for any comfort made their people tough, and the Whisperer Horde was the biggest zombie weapon that's ever been used. The fact that their tactics were used by the other survivors up until the end of the series shows us just how influential the Whisperers were to the Walking Dead universe, landing them their spot near the top. The runner-up on our list is the place where Rick and his people finally found hope for a better tomorrow, Alexandria. This society, formed by some passionate yet honest politicians, seemed like heaven for Team Rick, until it wasn't. Rick turned the whole community into walker killers, and the series ends with those walls still standing, stronger than ever with Carol at the helm. Although Alexandria lacked the size and resources of some of the other groups on this list, it was the heart and soul of the series since Season 5B. Before we get to the last one on our list, we just ask that you take a quick second to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video. We'd appreciate it very much, and we'll keep bringing you the best content we can every week. Number 25 and our top spot on this list is the CRM. From what we know about it by the other spin-offs, this community has it all. They have multiple cities, schools, scientists, and most importantly, helicopters. We do know that this society could actually cure the Walker virus or make walkers even worse. The fact that they have the power to destroy a city the size of the Commonwealth shows what kind of impact that they can make on the Walking Dead universe as a whole. Most importantly, on top of all of their other assets, they have one thing that can't be beat: Rick motherfucking Grimes. An honorable mention we have is the group Michonne left town with. We don't know if they are a faction of the CRM or Georgie's group or somewhere else, which is why we can't put them on the list. What do you think? Who did we miss? Who's the top 5 on your list? Will Dog ever get his own community of other badass apocalyptic dogs? Thanks so much for watching our videos, everybody. As always, we're on the lookout for any new promo videos or insider info to help prove or disprove all the rumors out there about our favorite show that collects destroyed communities like Pokemon cards, The Walking Dead. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at Binge Rampage. Click that notifications bell for our channel so you can see our next video as soon as it comes out, and don't forget to subscribe.
It was like you once, leading a community of artists, but they never really stood a chance, as yours don't now. Larger, more powerful communities overtake smaller ones.